Have you ever picked up a dime and thought, it's just 10 cents, right? Well, what if I told you that some of those tiny silver coins could actually be worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars? That's right, the Roosevelt dime, a coin most of us overlook every single day, hides a secret world of rare minting mistakes, hidden variations, and forgotten treasures still floating in circulation right now. Imagine paying for a cup of tea, handing over a dime, and later realizing you just gave away a coin worth more than a luxury car. Sounds crazy? It's not, because it has actually happened. In today's video, we're diving deep into the top 10 most valuable Roosevelt dimes that could make you rich overnight. From rare no-S-proof errors to silver transitional mistakes and double die legends, these coins are the hidden gems that collectors dream about. Every single one of them tells a story of history, precision, and accidents that created fortune out of metal. And guess what? Some of them might still be lying quietly in your pocket change, waiting for someone like you to discover them. So stay with me till the end, because you're about to see dimes that sold for $10,000, $50,000, and even over $500,000. This is not just another coin video. This is a journey through America's small but mighty treasure, the Roosevelt dime. Now we will talk about a coin so rare that only a couple of people on Earth have ever held one. The 1975 no-S-proof Roosevelt dime. In 1975, the San Francisco Mint struck millions of proof coins for collectors. Every one of them was supposed to have an S mint mark below Roosevelt's neck. But somehow, through an incredible mistake, a few proof dimes were struck without that mint mark. These coins shouldn't exist, yet they do. Only 2 confirmed examples of the 1975 no-S-proof dime are known to exist today. They were both discovered by collectors who opened proof sets in the 1970s and noticed something odd. Their coins were missing the S. When experts examined them, they realized these were genuine mint errors, not counterfeits or worn marks. Since then, this coin has become one of the most famous modern rarities in all of American coinage. Its story is a blend of mystery, human error, and sheer luck. One example sold for an unbelievable $456,000 at auction, a record-breaking price for a Roosevelt dime. For coin collectors, the 1975 no-S-proof dime represents the ultimate treasure, a coin so rare that most will only ever see pictures of it. It's proof that even in modern minting, perfection is never guaranteed, and one tiny missing letter can create a piece of history worth more than $500,000. Now we will talk about the holy grail of Roosevelt dimes, the 1969 no-S-proof dime, a coin so rare and mysterious that even professional collectors dream of finding one. In 1969, all proof coins were struck at the San Francisco Mint, proudly carrying the small S mint mark. But somehow, through a near unbelievable oversight, a few dimes were minted without it. This missing S turned an ordinary proof coin into one of the greatest rarities in modern U.S. history. Only a handful of genuine examples have ever been confirmed, each one verified by top-grading authorities. The absence of that tiny mint mark might seem like a small detail, but in the world of numismatics, it's the difference between 10 cents and a small fortune. When one of these rare coins surfaces, it makes headlines with values that can soar beyond $500,000 at major auctions. Collectors and investors alike see it as the ultimate prize, a perfect storm of rarity, beauty, and historical significance. Experts believe the error occurred when a die intended for proof coinage was mistakenly used before the mint mark was added. The result? A flawless, mirror-finished dime that technically should never have existed. The 1969 no-S-proof dime stands as the pinnacle of the Roosevelt series, a reminder that even in a system built on precision, one forgotten mark can turn a simple coin into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery worth $500,000 or more. Now we will talk about one of the most intriguing and lesser-known treasures of the Roosevelt dime series, the 1956 double-die obverse dime. At first glance, it might look like any other silver dime from the 1950s, but a closer inspection reveals something extraordinary. On some coins, the word liberty, the motto, "In God We Trust," and even the date 1956 appears slightly doubled. This is not from wear or damage. It's a genuine double die error, created during the die preparation process when the coin design was impressed twice, slightly out of alignment. These doubling details are subtle but powerful, transforming a simple dime into a collector's dream. Only a few examples have ever been confirmed, and most were likely released into circulation without anyone noticing. Today, sharp-eyed numismatists are always on the hunt for this coin because its rarity and sharp details make it incredibly valuable. Depending on the strength of the doubling and the condition of the coin, The 1956 doubled. The obverse can bring 5,000 to 10,000 or even more at auction. It stands as a perfect example of how even the smallest mistake at the mint can create something truly extraordinary. So next time you spot a 1956 dime, take a moment to look closer. Those doubled letters might be your clue that you're holding a small silver fortune hidden in plain sight. Now we will talk about a dime that bridges two worlds, one made of silver and the other of modern metal. It's the legendary 1965 silver transitional era dime, a coin born from one of the biggest changes in American coin history. In 1965, the U.S. Mint officially stopped making dimes out of 90% silver and switched to a copper-nickel composition. But during this transition, a few old silver planchets, leftover blanks from 1964, accidentally made their way into the presses and were struck with the new 1965 date. That tiny slip created one of the rarest and most sought-after modern dimes ever discovered. To the naked eye, it looks like an ordinary 1965 dime, but the secret lies in its weight and sound. Silver dimes weigh slightly more, about 2.5 grams instead of 2.27, and they have that unmistakable silver ring when dropped. If your 1965 dime weighs more or lacks the copper edge, it could be one of these rare transitional errors. Only a few genuine examples have ever been found, and they've sold for incredible prices, often between $10,000 and $15,000, depending on condition. This coin is proof that even during times of change, mistakes can create treasures that last forever. So next time you see a 1965 dime, don't overlook it. Weigh it, test it, and look closer, because you might just be holding a silver coin that was never meant to exist. Now we will talk about another post-war beauty, the 1950s Roosevelt dime, a coin that represents both rarity and the start of a new numismatic era. By 1950, America was recovering from the war and entering an age of progress. The Roosevelt dime, introduced just a few years earlier to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, had already become a symbol of hope and modern America. But that year, something special happened. The San Francisco Mint struck a relatively low number of dimes, making the 1950s one of the scarcer issues in the entire series. On paper, over 20 million may sound like a lot, but most of them were quickly used in everyday commerce. They passed through countless hands, vending machines, and pockets, and very few survived in pristine, untouched condition. That's what makes them so valuable today. Collectors especially look for dimes with full bands on the torch on the reverse side, a sign of a strong, precise strike. Those fine details separate an ordinary dime from a collector's dream. A circulated 1950s dime might be worth only a few dollars, but a gem-quality example with brilliant luster and full details can fetch $3,000 or more at auction. And those with flawless preservation, graded MS-68 or higher, have sold for prices that surprise even experienced collectors. It's not an era coin, and it doesn't have a missing mint mark. Its value lies in its condition, scarcity, and perfect design. So next time you come across a 1950 dime, turn it over and look closely for that little S. If it gleams like new, you might be holding a small but powerful piece of history. Now we will talk about the most valuable coin, the 1964D, double die reverse dime. 1964 was a monumental year in U.S. coinage history. It marked the end of an era, the final year when dimes were struck in 90% silver before America switched to cheaper copper nickel-clad coins. But that final year of silver production came with a twist, a rare and spectacular doubling error that transformed this dime into a hidden treasure. The 1964D doubled die reverse shows clear doubling on the back of the coin, especially on the torch, the olive branches, and the lettering United States of America and 1 dime. To the naked eye, it looks like the design was struck twice, giving it a shadow-like appearance, but this wasn't intentional. It was the result of a die that had been improperly hubbed, creating two slightly offset impressions. When this happened, the mint didn't notice right away, and a small number of these coins were released into circulation. Years later, sharp-eyed collectors discovered the error, and what was once a simple dime became a prized piece of American coinage history. Because this coin is from the Denver Mint, marked with a small D, it already carries unique significance. But if you find that doubling on the reverse side, you could be looking at a dime worth $5,000 to $7,000 or more, depending on its condition and clarity. Now we will talk about a coin that shocked collectors when it first appeared. The 1982 No-P Roosevelt dime. This wasn't a proof coin, and it wasn't supposed to be rare at all. It was a regular dime, meant for everyday circulation. But one small mistake at the Philadelphia Mint turned it into one of the most famous coin errors of the modern era. In 1982, something unusual happened. A batch of dimes left the mint without the P. Mint mark. It may not sound like much, but it was the first time a U.S. coin from Philadelphia had been struck without its mint mark since 1945, and that simple missing letter changed everything. Collectors began noticing dimes dated 1982 that didn't have the P under Roosevelt's neck. At first, people thought it was worn off, but soon they realized it was never there in the first place. The mint had forgotten to stamp the mint mark on a working die, and before anyone could catch it, thousands of coins were already in circulation. What makes this error so amazing is that you can still find one in your pocket change today. It's not impossible. They're out there. Most are worth between $300 and $1,000. But pristine, uncirculated examples can go even higher. So next time you see a 1982 dime, you are holding a treasure. Now we will talk about one of the most collectible dimes from the post-war era. The 1949 S Roosevelt dime. This coin was struck just 4 years after the Roosevelt dime series began, and it quickly gained attention for its low mintage and limited availability in perfect condition. Only a small number of these coins came out of the San Francisco Mint that year, and those that survived the test of time have become treasures for collectors. At first glance, it may not seem unusual. It has the same familiar design. President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the front and the torch, olive branch and oak branch on the reverse, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. But when you look closely at the mint mark just beside the torch, that tiny S tells a much bigger story. Most 1949 S dimes entered circulation and were used for years, which means very few remain in mint condition today. And that's what makes them so valuable. Collectors pay a premium for coins that still have their original shine and full strike details, especially those with what numismatists call a full bands designation, meaning the torch is horizontal. Lines are perfectly visible and sharply defined. A 1949 S dime in circulated condition might fetch only a few dollars, but one in uncirculated or gem condition can bring $500 to $2,000 or more, a huge leap for a coin that once jingled in someone's pocket. It's a reminder that sometimes rarity isn't about an error or a missing mint mark. It's about survival. The few that remain untouched tell the story of a nation recovering after war, moving into a new era. So, if you happen to find a 1949 dime with that small S mint mark, you are holding a fortune. Now we will talk about one of the most mysterious and valuable Roosevelt dimes ever discovered, the 1968 No S proof dime. This coin isn't just rare, it's a full-blown minting mystery. Back in 1968, the U.S. Mint in San Francisco began producing proof coins marked with the letter S, just below Roosevelt's neck. But somehow, a few of these proof dimes were struck without that mint mark. The S was completely missing. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary dime. But if you spot a 1968 dime without that little S, you might be holding a small silver disc worth over $15,000. Imagine that, a coin created by accident, yet now sought after by collectors across the globe. Only a handful of these have ever been confirmed, and every time one surfaces, it turns heads in the coin world. Experts believe the missing S happened when a proof die intended for the San Francisco Mint was prepared before the mint mark was added, and somehow it slipped through quality checks. Those few coins were struck, sealed in proof sets, and shipped out before anyone noticed. Years later, collectors opened their proof sets, looked closer, and realized they had something extraordinary, a dime that wasn't supposed to exist. So if you ever come across a 1968 proof dime with no mint mark, don't spend it. You might just be holding one of the most valuable dimes in American history. Now we move to another fascinating era that slipped through the hands of the U.S. Mint, the 1970 No-S-proof Roosevelt dime. By 1970, proof coins from the San Francisco Mint were supposed to have that familiar S mint mark. But once again, something went wrong, and a few proof dimes were struck without it. These were meant for collectors, not circulation, but a few mysteriously escaped into the world. At first, they looked like any other proof dime, shiny, mirror-like, perfect in detail. But when sharp-eyed collectors noticed the missing S, the coin world buzzed with excitement. How could such an error happen twice? Experts believe that one of the dies used to mint the proofs was accidentally left unpunched with the S mint mark. The result? A flawless official U.S. Mint proof coin, with a mistake worth thousands. The 1970 No-S proof dime has since become one of the most talked about modern U.S. coin errors. Only a handful are known to exist, and whenever one shows up at an auction, the bidding wars begin. High-grade examples have fetched $20,000 or more, turning what was once a 10-cent coin into a treasure most collectors can only dream of owning. So, if you ever get your hands on a 1970 proof set, look closely, and if the S is missing, congratulations. You may just be holding a small fortune in your fingers. And there you have it, the incredible world of Roosevelt dimes that could still be hiding right under your nose. From missing mint marks to doubled dies and silver transitional errors, these tiny coins carry stories of luck, history, and fortune. It's hard to believe that a small 10-cent piece, something we often ignore or toss into a drawer, could be worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. But that's the magic of coin collecting. Every coin has a story, and every story has the potential to change someone's life. So next time you get a dime in your change, don't just glance at it, inspect it carefully. Look for that missing S, that subtle doubling, that unusual shine. Because you never know when history, luck, and value might all come together in the palm of your hand. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more about rare coins, hidden treasures, and valuable finds, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a discovery. Who knows? The next fortune might be sitting quietly in your pocket right now, just waiting to be found. Thanks for watching. And until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and keep believing that even the smallest coin can tell the biggest story.